Aquaba guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to yet another Pillow Talk. I thank God for waking us up this morning, breathing life into us yet again another day. I thank God for you, and you. This morning's Pillow Talk is going to be a piggyback on what we talked about on Friday about taking good care of yourself. With the natural herbs and teas, I've given you some supplements you should take. But this Pillow Talk is going to be never self-diagnose yourself. Never. This is something I never really talked about on social media, Facebook, nothing. Because I'm not a seeker of attention. I'm not the type of person that take pics of me in the hospital bed settings or anything that goes on. You know, I just pray about whatever I'm dealing with, talk to my family, but that's it. For the most part, I'm a private person. But I felt like this needed to be shared. Never self-diagnose yourself. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with a benign brain tumor called a vestibular schwannoma. Another word for it is called acoustic neuroma. And I had a few symptoms. The first symptom I noticed was the loss of hearing on my right side. The loss of hearing. And I was thinking, is it me or the right side of my face is drooped down more? But I didn't pay attention because it's noticeable, but not yet noticeable. I thought maybe it was all in my head. So I was asking my mom, like, do you notice a difference in my face? And she couldn't see anything. So the first symptom I noticed was a loss of hearing on the right side. So I said, well, I love to put Q-tips in my ears. So I thought maybe it could have been I was pushing wax down into my ear, blocking my hearing. That was my first thought. So I went to the ENT doctor, and what they had to do was put a camera up my nose to see in my ear. And the report was my ear was clean. There was no wax buildup. There was no wax pushed down in my ear. So I'm like, well, why is it that I can't hear on that side? All I hear is like fuzziness, like a TV, like shh, or like a little faint ringing. I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, well, something's going on. The next thing I noticed was anytime I would get up from a table, I would lean to the left before being able to balance myself to walk straight. And I would have like double vision. And I said, wait, woo. I just got a new pair of glasses. Maybe the prescription is too strong. Maybe the prescription is too strong. So I went back to my ophthalmologist and he was like, no. Did another test. No, this is it. And I had to pay extra money. So I'm like, well, why am I having like double vision? And he was like, I'm not pretty sure, but I had to do that, those drops so they can see, what was going on behind my retina. And couldn't find anything unusual. Then I needed glasses. And to his knowledge, I had the correct prescription. So then I was going to the neurologist and I was telling him my symptoms. And he was doing a test where he would take an object and go down my feet. He was trying to figure it out. He had me walk a straight line. And at first he thought I had vertigo. And the neurologist, he couldn't figure it out. The third symptom, I went back to the same neurologist because he's across the street from my job. And I said, hey, doc, I'm having a metallic taste in my mouth. It tastes as if I'm licking pipes, all types of faucets. It tastes like I'm licking dirty, rusted faucets. But before I went to the doctor to tell him about the metallic taste, I went on the internet and I typed in metallic taste in the mouth, how to get rid of it. And it said, mix cinnamon with honey, put it on your tongue, let it sit 5 minutes, and then brush. It worked like a charm. However, a few weeks later, that metallic taste came back. So when I told the neurologist about the metallic taste, he had this blank look. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? So he said, I need you to get an MRI. So I'm still not thinking anything, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I scheduled for an MRI, and they asked, was I claustrophobic? I said, very much so. So I had to go and get a prescription prescribed for anxiety. I got an MRI, and lo and behold, I had a benign brain tumor called a vestibular schwannoma. Another word is acoustic neuroma. And I went to two of the best neurologists where I go to the hospital. And they both said, we're not willing to go in your head and cut this tumor out because it's more than 50% chance that you would have facial paralysis because the tumor is so close to the nerve. So that explains all my symptoms with the dizziness and getting up and rocking to the left before I can go straight, and the double vision and the loss of hearing, and the metallic taste in my mouth. That explained all those goofy, weird things that was going on. So I'm like, well, where did we go from here? So April the 23rd, 2019, I had to undergo Gamma Knife, which they put 2 screws in the front, 2 screws in the back, and they put like a halo over your head. And that is just for that radiation to go to the particular spot that they're looking for, and for me not to move my head. Well, where I went to the hospital, they treated me with such love and care. It wasn't a traumatic experience. What was traumatic is the fact that I had this issue, and I'm like, where in the world did a brain tumor come from? I couldn't believe it. So because they didn't remove it, even till now, and I have to get an MRI every 6 months, but it's okay, you know. And right after that, I started having like these hemofacial spasms because what it does is when you get radiation, sometimes it can swell the tumor before it starts to shrink. So because of the heat of the radiation, it will expand, and then it will start going down and shrinking and shrinking. So my face would, get all twitched up if I chewed on the right side or whatever. And I noticed that this was my dominant strong hand, and now it's my weaker hand. But God is still God, and I'm able to maneuver with my condition, although my equilibrium is still off to the day. But it's okay. Another reason I say you should not self-diagnose is January 1st of this year, I could have lost my mom. My mother was sick and was not getting better, and we was getting her all these cold medicines, and she contributed to, it's a flu, and I didn't get the flu shot, yeah. The Bible says people perish for the lack of knowledge. That woman had COVID, pneumonia, and blood clots. By the time we got her to the ER, that nurse said, you are very sick, because her face started looking distorted in the ER, and I screamed, and they rushed her back. And it took her long, to recover and to walk without feeling faint, because sitting around longer than needed, than just going to the doctor. Also, you have insurance, go to the doctor. Life is in the blood. Get those lipid panels. See what's going on with yourself. Yes, I believe in natural remedies and herbs and things that are good for you that God put on this earth. I do. However, we still need to know what we're working with in order to know what supplements to take. We still need to know what's going on with our bodies. God made physicians. He gave them the knowledge. If everybody can do it, how come everybody is not a doctor? How come everybody is not as smart as doctors or can retain information? You know how much stuff doctors have to know and memorize? So yeah, they are to be respected. They are to be called doctor, whatever their name is. Never self-diagnose, and never go on the internet for issues, because sometimes the internet will have you all scared. You thinking something's going on, and you thinking maybe you have stomach cancer when it's just gas. Never fail to go to the doctor. They taking this money out your pay. Everything has gone up. Do not fail to take care of yourself. And remember, I talk to you guys from the heart because I love you guys. So take this all in, be blessed, and have a wonderful day. Love you.